Outlet Liquor is your place to buy a case. Stock up and save when you shop the lowest prices available every day at Outlet Liquor. You never have to wait for a sale. The more you buy, the more you save. Only at Outlet Liquor.
What's your outlet?
What is up, everybody? Welcome to another late night edition of I'll Hang Up and Listen. Sabres drop. They returned from, I guess, like an extended holiday break due to COVID, losing to the New Jersey Devils 4-3. New Jersey snapping a 6-game losing streak. Big games from Jack Hughes and Bratt, 3 points apiece, goal and 2 assists. New Jersey played a very sound game tonight. Really dominated Buffalo offensively from start to finish, with the exception of maybe like a 10-minute span there in the second period. I mean, the Sabres had a great second period, but the first period was pathetic. They got outshot again in the second. It was 18-10. I know Ukko-Pekka had 42 shots on net, made 38 saves. UPL, had some very nice moments tonight, but he – you could tell there was a lot of rust with him. Rebound control was all over the place tonight. Couldn't really keep everything in front of him. He over pursued a couple times, but he didn't play a bad game, but definitely not one of his better efforts tonight. And again, the team didn't do much in front of him to help him defensively in terms of, keeping things to the outside, low danger chances, things of that nature. He was a busy guy tonight. And again, losing 4-3. Buffalo Sabres goals coming from 2 from Tage Thompson, and getting his first career NHL goal in his first career NHL game was Ethan Prow. Read the play beautifully. I forget who took the initial shot, but Prow read the play very well, snuck in there and buried the rebound. Very heads up play by Prow in his first game at 29 years old. He's been a little bit of a suitcase, kind of a career minor league hockey player, especially over in Europe, and then coming over to Buffalo and, making his debut tonight in the NHL and scoring in his first game. It's a real nice moment for the guy. I can't even say kid, he's just a few years younger than me. So, happy for him. Always nice to see him. Sure, we'll see that picture, of him holding the puck, first career NHL goal, first career NHL game. Not a lot of guys can say that, when you make your debut in the NHL, burying your first goal. I mean, it might even be his first shot, So Tage Thompson had himself a great, second period, kind of put the team on his back. That second goal on the break after a absolutely unbelievable, sequence of events by Rasmus Dahlin. Breaking up what would have been an on-man rush, really picking the pocket. I forget exactly which Devils player it was, and then floating a beautiful pass up ice right to Tage Thompson, who finished it on the breakaway. Just a really good game by Dahlin. Had a couple tough shifts there in the third period, but I think, overall, I'm very pleased with Dahlin's game. 2-point night tonight for him. And again, on a very injury and COVID-ravaged Sabres team, they didn't have their head coach behind the bench in Don Granato. You were missing Dylan Cousins, Jeff Skinner, Colin Miller out with an injury. The list kind of goes on and on of the players you were missing tonight. You could have contributed to help get the Buffalo Sabres a win tonight. Another guy I want to point out was Mark Pisik. Mark Pisik is sneaky. I wouldn't even say if it's sneaky. He's easily, hands down, in my opinion, the best defensive defenseman we have right now. He made a couple of very quiet plays that maybe not everybody noticed in his own end. Just really, again, keeping things in front of keeping the play in front of him, keeping the puck in front of him, keeping plays outside. Just a few different plays I saw. I was actually at the game tonight, and he looked great. I think he's a guy that this team needs going forward to play that exact style of hockey. Because we all, every team needs guys like him, guys that are going to keep, defensemen that are going to keep the play in front of them. Sorry, Dom's playing with his new one of his Christmas presents. Here, buddy, come on. Come here. No, he doesn't want to get involved. He's angry at the Sabres lost too. Mark Pisik again had a very, very good hockey game. For me, looked phenomenal in his own end. And Alex Tuch making his debut tonight for the Buffalo Sabres. Guy has had it's been a lot of anticipation in this for him. Guy was, kind of, after the last set of games were, put on hold, had to wait a little bit longer, getting an assist on the on Buffalo's second goal. Is the second goal? No, it's the first goal. Sorry, it's the first goal. On Tage Thompson, threw the puck to the net. Tage deflected it. Nice to see him get on the score sheet. He's loving every second of that. This guy is going to be a natural born leader for this team. He oozes what it takes to be a captain. I could definitely see him. I know me and producer Steve discussed it on episode 80 of Two Goalies, One Mic, but this guy at least has an A on his sweater next year, if not the C. I know a lot of people want to see it be Dylan Cousins, but I definitely think it's going to be Alex Tuch. If you're to ask me, the guy just, he bleeds everything that this team and this culture is supposed to be. It's not every day you see a guy who has the smile that he had on his face when getting traded from Vegas to Buffalo. He was over the moon excited because he said he dreamed of playing this for this team growing up, and he had the pictures to prove it. We got a few comments, first to Tage. Yeah. The first goal was to Tage Thompson on the Alex Tuch goal. We got Drew Buckets here in the chat. Anybody else who wants to join? Right now we can only take comments and questions on YouTube. And please make sure you subscribe to Trainwreck Sports and, of course, Two Goalies, One Mic on our YouTube platform. Slowly but surely growing. And again, that's the only way we can take questions or comments from you guys right now. And I want to get you guys more involved. But again, just to go over some of the key stats in tonight's game, Rasmus Dahlin with a 2-point night. If these stats are updated, I believe that puts Rasmus Dahlin at 20 points on the season, 20 points in 30 games. That's if these stats that I'm looking at haven't been updated yet. So he's at 18 or 20 points. I think he's at 20 points in 31 games. So, he's having himself quite a season with all things considered, especially after a little bit of a slow start. Excited to see for everything I've seen out of Rasmus Dahlin over the last, I'd say, 10 or so games, especially ever since he got reunited with Yoki Haru. He's really turned his game around. And again, I mentioned on Twitter earlier, it helps having a goalie that you can depend on back in that, because it helps you kind of like maybe, loosen your grip on your stick a little bit. And it gives you the ability to play your game a little bit more, because you know that you do have a goalie back there that can bail you out if you do make a mistake. And, I think the mistakes made by Dahlin have a little bit few and far in between. I know the icing at the end in the third period. I mean, that's unfortunate. Personally, for me, I would have liked to have seen Matt Ellis take his time out there. In the defensive zone draw, just to really give those guys a rest. That's like about 30 seconds to a minute worth of a breather. You get your top line players out there, to maybe give it one last push to tie the game up. And I know Cody Eakin's a great face-off guy, but I am so over him, him being the main face-off guy in clutch situations. Like, there's got to be, even if it's not just as good of an option, just another guy that can take those draws and be dependent on. Because Cody Eakin isn't a guy that you want out there with 1 minute. No offense. He's had a decent season from what we expected, from what we saw last year. I think Cody Eakin's had a decent year. Not good enough to where you'd want to bring him back next season, but he hasn't been the disappointment that he was last year, especially analytically. Comment here, or question here from Drew Buckets. Do you think tonight's showing boosts your confidence going forward once everyone else comes back from injury and COVID? I think so. I don't think guys like Peyton Krebs and JJ Peterka are going to stick around. That's obviously, again, a situation because of injury and COVID. You had to bring those guys up and give them a look. I just it was nice seeing those guys in the lineup tonight. I think Peterka had a couple nice chances. I think he was a little bit more noticeable than Peyton Krebs. Peyton Krebs again, he didn't have a bad game, but he just didn't stand out immensely. His passing out there was pretty crisp. He made a couple nice plays, but Peterka had a couple nice chances. One there in the third too. But with that's just one game, a very, very small sample size. Again, on a team that's really been hit hard by COVID, you're not at like 100% right now. So with that being said, I would like to see them get a few more games in just to see, kind of, what you have in those guys. I think Peyton Krebs has to put on some more size still. He looked pretty small out there, for all things considered. I would like to see him this offseason bang the weights a little bit. Him, Quinn, Peterka, all get into a weight room together and push each other to put on some more size to get ready for next year. Because I don't think it's even debatable that all three of those guys will be in blue and gold next year. I would find it very hard to believe that any of those guys would be on the outside looking in on this roster next season. Another here. Eakin is lacrosse Fogo face off, get off. Yeah, but here's the thing: if he doesn't win the face off, he's pinned in his own end, and he's not a guy that can always be depended on to drive play and get the puck out of the zone. So I get his use out there. He's a good face-off guy, but I mean, when the game's on the line, I just don't want him out there. I really don't. I see Hayden and Krebs go down. I think Peterka goes down too. Honestly, I think that in a season like this, I think that they're better of use to Rochester than they would be here. And that's not saying that they're not good enough to be here. I just think that the long-term, the big picture, the long-term plan here is to build a winning hockey team. And I want to see all those guys be a part of a long playoff run in Rochester, get a lot of playoff games under their belt, and go chase a championship. Unless one of these guys really sticks out and makes it extremely hard for Kevin Adams to make the decision to send them back to Rochester. I personally just believe that they're a better suit in Rochester right now. Again, not because I don't think they're good enough to be here, but because let those guys go chase a championship, let them get playoff experience underneath their belts at the pro hockey level, and, go win a Calder Cup, because I think that, in terms of development, long term would be very, very beneficial to guys like JJ Peterka and Peyton Krebs. Even UPL, there's no guarantee that UPL is going to be here in the long term. I know everyone wants to say that, he's been the best goalie by and far since Craig Anderson's got hurt, and I don't disagree. He has been. But there's no guaranteeing that when Dustin Tokarski is back in the lineup, you already made the trade for Malcolm Subban, who wasn't bad for you in the. I know he had a rough first start, but that second game he played phenomenal. So, and I know they're kind of high on him. They want to see what they have in him and see if there's a future for Malcolm Subban on this team. So, I don't think it's a guarantee that UPL is still on this team, once everybody's healthy and back and ready to go. Which, if that is the case, I'm not happy, but I'm not unhappy, because I think he, would give Rochester a very good chance to win a Calder Cup. So, other points in tonight's game, again, Ethan Prow scoring his first goal in his first NHL game. A couple clicks for the kid. Actually, kid, almost full-grown adult, 29 years old. Tage Thompson with 2 goals. Victor Olofsson with an assist. Mark Pisik with an assist. Alex Tuch with an assist. And Brent Murray with a big tilt. And I believe it was in the first period after Buffalo went down 2-0. There was a hit. I can't remember. I can't remember who the hit was on. Maybe one of you guys can refresh my memory who the hit was on that caused the Brent Murray fight. But that was awesome. Brent Murray. I think it was against Sharagovich. Sangenheller. I am butchering that name. I am so sorry. Jonas Singenthaler, I believe, is the forward that Brent or the defenseman that Brent Murray fought, and absolutely owned him the entire time. And got the crowd, the fans that were there. I would say this has probably been the biggest crowd since the home opener. Got the crowd fired up. A lot of energy in the building, which I think did help lead to Tage Thompson scoring those 2 goals to tie the game. That's the benefits of getting into a fight like that. Really kind of like brings the momentum back to your side, especially when you do as well in the fight as Murray did. And on his way to the room, because he got the 10-minute misconduct, threw his arms in the air, let's go. And everybody followed suit, and Tage Thompson led the way in the second period. But unfortunately, it did not lose to even a loser point tonight, as they lost 4-3 in regulation. But tomorrow, they not much time to think about it. You come back tomorrow on the island. I did hear in Matt Ellis's post-game press conference that they plan on traveling tonight, which, I mean, there's no guaranteeing that game gets played tomorrow because of COVID. They got to do their morning testing. And if both teams have positive cases, there's a very good chance that this game does get postponed tomorrow night. But we'll see. So I hope it does get played, because, I'm getting sick and tired of COVID postponements and canceled games, like the IIHF World Junior Championship tournament, as we all know, was canceled today because of all the positive COVID cases from some of the players in the tournament. Team USA having to forfeit a game, and I forget, it might have been Chechnya, or I forget who it was, had to forfeit a game to Slovakia. But there has been some small chatter, some quiet chatter that they could try and pick things up in the summer and continue the tournament in the summer, which would be cool. Getting to watch some big time hockey in the summer like that would be really cool. But I just don't understand why they didn't play that tournament in a bubble after you saw how well the NBA and NHL did with that, playing in a bubble. I don't understand why you wouldn't do the same thing, especially for a tournament that isn't as long lasting as, say, the NBA and the NHL playoffs. Like, I mean, you're in there for a couple weeks, 2 weeks at most, and you're back home right after. So I just don't understand why they didn't put it in a bubble. That's really the IIHF really dropping the ball there. So with that being said, again, I would probably expect Malcolm Subban to be in net tomorrow night if they do play in a back-to-back situation. I'm excited to see him play again, especially after, I still watch that highlight reel glove save, behind the back glove save he made from the last time he played. That literally will probably, most definitely be the save of the year, without a doubt. So with that being said, guys, I'll hang up and listen. Sabres drop tonight's game to the New Jersey Devils 4-3. Tage Thompson 2 goals, Dahlin 2 assists. Continuing his climb offensively. In this latter, this kind of going into the middle of the season here, going into the All-Star break, and what would have been the Olympic break, but again, it doesn't seem at all that NHL players are going to be going to the Olympics, even though some of them are fighting back. But we will talk to you tomorrow night. Remember, this was brought to you by Outlet Liquor, the place to buy a case. What's your outlet? And I'll hang up and listen, and let's go Sabres.